Hi guys, and welcome back from Carly at the Herbothecary. Really good to see you guys again. If you're new to the channel or like the videos, please show your support by hitting like and subscribe down below. It's April 27th, 2023, and we're back in the Herbothecary garden taking stock of just how bad the garden is after last year not going to plan, the end of last year. I thought I'd made a good start. As many of you know, December 2017 we left this beautiful place and moved to this. The landlord had decided to tear up the driveway and put down stones, so everything had just been chucked on the other side. And the first year, so 2018 and pretty much most of 2019, my back garden was completely unusable as hubby was building a conservatory as the house just wasn't big enough for us. So as you can imagine, not only was the back garden a complete building site and entirely unusable, most of the front garden was storing the bricks and the timber and everything he needed to build it. So I basically had one tiny space in the front garden to work with. So I set to actually getting some shape to it. I'm not a big fan of straight lines and beds, and I do actually need space for the kids to be able to play. So I wanted that bit in the middle as grass, and I wanted some beds that I could use. Now, we did pretty much tear everything up the first year as it had already been buried by lots and lots of rubble, and we had no idea what was actually there. So I did what I could and got some little bits in, some herbs and stuff like that. And there was this sorrel that was still there, so we kept that. But everything else was pretty much in containers. And we had the back garden, we had this tree shading everything out, so we did actually make efforts to clear some of that, but that too was a fail, as that tree is still alive and kicking. But we did our best, and everything was in pots, which our dog, unfortunately, who passed away last year, he loved to relieve himself on them, but we did our best at that stage. So that first year we had some nice flowers and stuff like that. I was as happy with it as I possibly could be. Or you can see I just managed to clear some of the timber and stuff. I had a cold frame at that point, which helped, but it was really, really tiny and flimsy and plastic, and it broke. So that was 2018 and 2019, and we didn't really get that far. And then 2020 happened, and being a carer, I ended up working a lot more hours. Unlike most people who got a break, I was covering the other staff members who normally helped me as they were quarantining or, COVID, whatever, but they weren't there. So 2020 and 2021 was a bust. Last year, I thought I'd make some progress. I got a fairly fast start or early start. This was the beginning of June, I believe. I got these, well, I call them trellises. They're the metal bed frame of one of my neighbors who was throwing away a bed. So I used them to grow my tomatoes and my cucumbers and everything up, and I thought I was doing well. Then, halfway through summer, the person that I care for ended up in ICU in an induced coma. And once he did come out, he was fine. But once he did come out, it meant that I had to do a lot more hours, sleepover sessions, things like that. Hello, Vincent. Sorry, that's my son. And I neglected the garden. I honestly didn't have time. I wasn't home enough, and when I was, it was usually dark, and I didn't get in there. I didn't get things done. So this year I've started early, very early. But if the last few years have taught me anything, I cannot predict what's going to happen and when I'm actually going to be able to get this stuff done. So I did start these tomatoes late, but I only just got the seeds. They're giant tomatoes. My cucumber, one of three, is huge and ready to go out, most definitely. I started these tomatoes very early, so I've actually potted them up in the pots that they're going to go in outside, and they're going to climb up that trellis. They're interplanted with nasturtium and marigolds and some basil. I've then got this pepper, which I've experimented with the topping it, just pinching the tops out and see how that goes. I've also got another one that I haven't done it to. I'll compare the methods, but it does look like it's bushing out a bit. I've got, yeah, it has side shoots, so fingers crossed. These two tomatoes, I don't know if I'm going to have space for. They were from store-bought. I've got a bay tree cutting that I took from my neighbour's bay tree. That was the only one of 12 that looked like it took. Some turmeric in the flat that looked like it was dead, but when I emptied it out, it had shoots, so who knows. That's a pumpkin, and that's the other pepper. I've got, I believe these are some Moneymaker ones that I started about 3 weeks ago. Moneymaker tomatoes that I've just potted on. Then the hanging baskets, my kids love tomatoes, so I've got in the hanging baskets some tumbling yellow toms and some mini bell tumbling toms, basket toms, some marigold in there and some nasturtium, and I'm hoping they'll be really pretty and just tumble over and the kids can help themselves. But they do like the nasturtiums as well with their peppery flavour, and they love popping the flowers on their salads. The extra tomatoes that I was chitting, they definitely need to go in the soil, but my baskets are already full. A friend dropping off some of the large feed bags that she gets her horse feed in, and I'll be planting them in there. A tray, obviously, of salads and stuff. These will be planted out in the greenhouse once we've harvested the salad leaves. These are Gardener's Delight tomatoes, which I just potted on. This is my new friend, and it's my goji berry, and I'm very, very proud of it because I thought it was dead. I got it as bare root. It was just a stick, but it is indeed flowering. Actually produces both white and purple flowers. I haven't done enough research yet. I don't know if one's male, one's female, or if they just produce pretty flowers, but I love them and I love it. On the windowsill in the bedroom, I have some of my experiments. So these are actually pomegranate seeds. No, pomegranate seeds. I've got some more in there. A little melon that doesn't seem to be taking off. My sugar baby that just sprouted, but it's already very leggy, so I'll need to get that on the fan. Lots of sweet corn. I'm actually growing an F1 variety in the back garden and an heirloom rainbow corn in the front garden because I don't want them to cross-pollinate. This is another sweet pepper, and my kids absolutely love them. They eat them like apples, and that's already flowering. We've got some new kooks there, and this, I believe, is a cantaloupe melons. Upstairs, I've got honeydew and watermelon. These I all took from seeds from melons we'd bought from the store, so I want to see how those go. Courgettes haven't come up yet, but the sunflowers are just looking a bit leggy. This one is actually another experiment. It's a mulberry. I grew up in South Africa. They were everywhere. They were beautiful, but I've never seen them in the UK. So I got myself a little cutting, and I'm going to see if I can make that work. But it is already putting on little buds, so it is trying to flower. And in the back are 2 lychee that I grew from seeds from store-bought lychees. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they come. It'll probably be another garden fail, but hey, you got to try. I soaked the seeds and then pre-germinated them in a kitchen roll in a plastic bag, and once they sprouted, I just planted them. And I also have down here, I got some sweet peas up there. Here I'm starting some not passion flower, valerian seeds. Here's some more turmeric, because we do use a lot of turmeric. Here I'm experimenting with a method I saw of getting sweet potatoes to put on shoots, or, I can't remember what the term for them is, but yeah, little runners, and then I can plant them. In here we have white sage seeds. I've never managed to germinate white sage, so I thought I'd try this method. And next to it, I actually got some miniature banana seeds, so let's see how that works out. I'm actually quite looking forward to it, but they haven't sprouted yet. And then again, of course, more turmeric, because I can never have enough turmeric or ginger. On the kitchen windowsill, I have some of the chocolate mint cuttings that I took from the one that's still alive at my brother's, because mine died back thanks to the doggy, and that looks to be forming roots. I have another tray of basically peas and beans, mostly all on this side, as I haven't had much luck growing them this year, and we do seem to have some life. So I thought if I grow the healthy ones and just pop them in, maybe I'll have a bit more luck if I just cover them over. Got another couple of experiments in here. Some chia seeds, again from a packet of store-bought. I've grown chia microgreens before, but never the full plant. And this is the lounge windowsill, which has my sweet pepper and my other Moruga scorpion, the one that survived, which I've been overwintering. But the sweet pepper is actually fruited for us all through winter. Tiny little fruits, but they're still gorgeous, and they go purple, which is really cool. It's an heirloom, and they're already trying to flower. This will be their third set of flowers since I brought them in September. I've been cheating and hand pollinating them as sleep, and hopefully we have no bees in the house. Hope not. Lots of pollen on these. Sorry, that's my son. So let's get out in the garden. And here in the front we have the celery that actually overwintered really well. It's really thin, so I've been using that in soups and stews. We also have in the bed next to some of our alliums, garlic and onions and stuff like that. I had some left over at the end of the season, so I just chucked them in and kind of hoped for the best, really. My mini apple and pear are coming back to life. So is my giant poppy. This is the giant red one. No life from... I can't remember what's in there yet. We've got some spring onions in here that are doing really well. We've actually been harvesting them. Like I said, no luck with the peas, so I've got them covered over. And I appear to have killed my olive tree. I'm not sure he should have been left out over the winter. I've given him a good feed, changed his soil, and hopefully he'll come back to life. If not, I might have to replace him. Here I have, this is the pollinator beds, and I have my mini grape. I'm hoping this one will climb up over the caravan. But in here we have nasturtium, we have pop marigold. There should be some poppies that come up. My silly little signs I have all over the garden. I've wet my plants and soiled myself. This is, here on the other side, you'll say wisterias. Obviously, this is my wisteria. And I thought I'd killed this as well, but really happy to see it has some shoots back on it. See, we're still cleaning out back, so excuse all the bags. Here I have a thornless blackberry. I think I might have pruned it a bit too mean, but it's got some life to it, so we'll see what happens. My hostas coming up again. Hostas? Yeah, I think hostas. Here I had planted more peas, but they haven't come up. As many of you know, especially those that watch my foraging videos, I do encourage a lot of what would be considered weeds in my garden. So here in the corner by the gate we have a common hogweed, and we also have a mullein that volunteered itself when I brought a stalk home. One of the nice chicken keeper ladies brought me a big tub of chicken manure and bedding, so I'm breaking that down at the moment for top dressing. My miniature cherry is looking stunning, all in blossom, and the strawberries at the base of that are blossoming too. Obviously more Herb Robert. Some more. We've got, oh, my fig tree is looking stunning. This is my baby. She came with me. She's now 6 years old, but because they're shaded out by that beautiful ornamental blossom and that huge eucalyptus tree, we'll see what happens, whether or not the fruit actually fruits. We've got the white valerian in there. This is normally where I have my sunflower seeds. I only had the one white valerian. The other two have self-seeded. And some more mullein that seems to be attacked by something. Now the only thing that seems to grow in this bed are my herbs and my rosemary. So I'm amending that at the moment. I won't plant it until that's broken down. Here's a bit of fencing. Oh, my nasturtium. These are pretty. They're Empress, I believe. So here's some paneling, fence paneling that I got from a neighbor, and I've turned that into an arch. We've got some more herbs on the right, and as you can see, I reuse everything. That's one of the kids' old toys. That's another old toy. Oh, the fairy garden, we'll go back to that. So in this bed, which I'm letting all the bluebells and everything grow for now, so the only flowers about, hiding in here somewhere is a passion flower that's going to come back to life, and that is going to sprawl all over that little archway. This is another miniature cherry tree. However, this one blossomed really early, and I did try hand pollinating, but not many pollinators were out at the time, and other than the bumblebees. So I don't know if I'm actually going to get any fruit from this one this year, but I do love it, and the display that it put on with the flowers was absolutely stunning. So let's see, huh? Fingers crossed. So over here we've got some, that's a very wet spot, so I've got some yellow iris in there. They're like a bog plant. And then my beautiful little fairy garden. Oh, we've got another watering can. My primrose came out first. They're all dying back. And I've got this succulent in here. I think this one volunteered itself too. My ferns are starting to come back to life. This area gets quite a bit of shade from the tree I'll show you in a minute. Obviously everything needs cleaning out. I did say it's been quite neglected. And all my fairies from my fairy garden are currently in the house so that they survive the winter. So I will be putting them back out soon. But here we have, ooh, some of my bulbs coming up. I can't remember if they're lilies or irises or gladioli, but they poke through and they look very pretty towering over the little pond. I was hoping that we'd get some tadpoles at some point, but the pond is a little small. We've got this wild blackberry that runs wild. I keep pinning that into the fence because it is very spiky. And then down here, I had a basket with some strawberries in, and these ones seem to have volunteered themselves. As you can see, the sheep really likes it. So they're already flowering, so hopefully if I get some hay down, they'll do their thing. We've got some leeks and stuff in there. You'll have to excuse the amount of bicycles that we have. Our kids keep going up one, and we need to get rid of them. So these, I've stuck some weed covering over. They're under this big beautiful tree, and they get shaded out. So I'm hoping I can still grow some brassicas in there through summer, and they won't bolt because of the shade and the cool of the tree. In here I have some raspberries that I don't think are going to come back to life, and a cranberry, I think. That one my neighbor gave me, but we've never eaten cranberries, but still, who knows. And let's see what we've got in here. Oh, here we are making some nettle tea so that we can fertilize our plants. We actually have a block in the drain above here, so I put the bucket there so that excess that drips down fills the bucket with rainwater, and I can just use that fertilizer. Every time the nettles pop up, I just pop some more in there and then let the rain do its thing. And it looks like we've got some random chickweed growing in one of the baskets. We don't really eat the chickweed, even though it is edible. So I might just empty that out and pop some nasturtiums in so they trail over and add to the shade of that area. I'm not sure how much those strawberries are going to like the shade, so I might actually consider relocating them after they've fruited. So into the back garden that only became usable at the end of last year, I have the cuttings I took from Wepper Park. That's St. John's wort and some mint and some sage. Here we've got the wild ones, the blue arcnut coming up. They're even popping up in these are more garlic that I planted in October last year. I have some more fruit trees. That's another apple tree. Again, excuse the mess. This area's only just started to become usable. My avocado tree got insects, so I brought it outside. It's looking sad, but I'll give it a prune. I have 2 lemon trees and an orange tree, and I killed one of my chilies. This is the kale that overwintered, and another brassica next to it. I think that was actually a bok choy. Then we have my pear trees. They're not really coming back to life yet. And the potatoes that I started, the other potatoes that I started. Here, these herbs normally go out in the sun, but here we have a curry plant. I absolutely love it. We do have another one in the back there with the lemon balm. And this was actually full of cosmos, but it appears we have one lonely lettuce leaf trying to start in there. This is the hanging doodad, hanging planter that I tried out last year, but it kept drying out. So I'm going to get harder on that this year. And I've got salads in there, so they're right next to the house. And this grass definitely needs reseeding before the kids come out and play. And this is my unfinished greenhouse that my husband started for me 2 years ago. But the prices went up so much on the panels and everything that it's not going to get finished till this year. So I kind of cheated, and I had one of the plastic greenhouses, so I put that up inside of it. These are 2 really deep planters on either side, and they were filled with leafy matter and stuff, so I chucked a few inches of soil on, and I've got the lettuce and stuff growing in there. This bed is similar. It's on top of these 2 sections at the front are actually our compost bins, so that breaking down heats this up. So I've got my garlic's been growing in there for a while. Now I'll harvest some of these for the green garlic, the tops, and there's also some salads seem to be popping up in there. So obviously it's doing its job. I'm very pleased with that. We have been harvesting these little lettuces at the front for a few months now. My blueberry's coming back to life. I did kind of kill it last year, but it only seems to have 2 lots of flowers on it this year, so I'm not holding out hope. My strawberry tower, these strawberries were in a bad place, so I've just potted them on, and they're not looking too healthy yet, but fingers crossed, a new soil and everything, and they'll come back to life. Who knows? So inside the greenhouse, I have cheated again. I built these little beds. That's a tray of that chicken manure that I'm hoping will heat the greenhouse up. We've got some more potatoes in there, some carrots at the back. These tomatoes were getting too tall, so I hope that if I bring them in here, they might still survive. Who knows? Again, they were the store-bought seeds that I'd saved, so I'm not too worried if they don't survive. We do have some peas coming at the back. This is the only success I've had with peas so far. So fingers crossed I will be tying string across those bars and letting them climb up that. We have a row of carrots, we have some kale, we have some green onions popping up, some parsley. So who knows, huh? I'm going to be hopeful. And I've also started some more onions in trays on the back. But these tomatoes are looking quite healthy. They've been out here for at least a week, and I did harden them off first. And lots of salad that I am definitely going to be thinning out for a baby salad for tonight's dinner. Thank you guys for joining me for a tour around our April garden. Let us know what you're planting at the end of April, what you've already planted, your fails, your successes. As you can see, I probably have more fails than successes, but the key to gardening is to keep trying and keep growing. And even if you only plant one thing, or even if you plant lots of things and only get one thing, I'd still call that a success. Share in the comment section down below. Again, thank you guys for coming back to the Herbothecary. It was great to see you again. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.